Q&A. Go ahead and type in what we're talking about so people know. So literally just the Q&A, going to be answering y'all's questions here in the chat. Okay, recommended. Go ahead and pin this. All right, y'all. So we're streaming on a couple different places right now, streaming both on YouTube and LinkedIn, as well as on Instagram. So I'm going to be kind of popping back and forth. So first question that I see, I will ask those of y'all that are here on Instagram, if y'all can make sure that you are putting your questions in the question box, so that way I can filter them. Other than that, I'll try to get to as many as I can. I'm doing good. Y'all doing good. So just a quick Sunday night live or Sunday evening, afternoon live, whatever. It's going to be answering as many questions as I can. So I'm kind of popping back and forth between Instagram and LinkedIn. So those of y'all that know, usually I only go live on Instagram. Moving forward, especially starting tomorrow, I will be going live on multiple platforms, but I'm going to choose which chat I'm going to pay most attention to in terms of answering questions. Today, I'm going to kind of like drive myself crazy by jumping back and forth between all the platforms that I'm on. So what's up, y'all? So again, it's going to be a very short live. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can right now. So first, I saw somebody ask me, first question I saw so far, somebody asking me about CompTIA A+. So right now I'm about to pay attention to my Instagram chat. I'm going to answer about 2 or 3 questions from here, and then I'm going to come over and focus on the chat from the LinkedIn and YouTube community that's over here. But what I think about the CompTIA A+, so it depends on what it is that you want to do in tech. And it depends on if you're going to supplement that with other certifications. One of the issues that happens is that people focus more on certifications. Like they'll focus on one certification and think that one certification alone is what will get you a job in tech and what will scale your career in tech. And that's highly unlikely, highly unlikely. It's better to supplement. If you don't want to do a boot camp, you're just going to do certifications. It's going to take more than just a CompTIA A+ certification. Like it's going to require a bit more than just that. All right. So real quick, y'all, my bad. I didn't do a proper introduction. I just kind of jumped in here. For those who do not know who I am, of course, as you can see, my name is Cyrus. I did a tech boot camp a couple years ago. What a tech boot camp is basically like a short miniaturized school where you're both educated and trained on a specific role in tech. I did that back in, I think it was July 2021. In 2 months after finishing my program, I started at my first tech company with a $90,000 salary. After about half a year, like 6 or 7 months, I ended up job hopping to another company that put me at $157,000. And then I was only there for a couple months, ended up being able to job hop to a company that put me at about $230,000 a total comp, and not including stock options. And now I'm a chief marketing officer for a startup. All right, somebody was calling my phone. Anyway, yeah, so now I'm a chief marketing officer for a startup, and of course, founder of Tech is the New Black, where we educate people on the tech industry, how to break into the industry, scale into the industry. And usually I recommend for people to do a tech boot camp, which is what I did to get into the industry, but everybody doesn't need to do a boot camp. And so usually I interview different people on my podcast and on my live to give people different tips and gems on how you can break into the industry and scale into the industry with as much money as possible. So quick heads up. One of the things that I'm also, y'all going to see me talking about a lot on my platform is Octoply AI. Octoply AI is actually, Octoply AI, let me actually pull this up. So I'm going to like kind of read off the spiel that I have about Octoply AI. So Octoply.ai is a career in staffing artificial intelligence that does all the work that it takes for people to get a job, besides interviewing, of course, because AI cannot do the interview for you. Thank God for that. So look, Octoply, it auto creates resumes. It also updates resumes if you already have one. but it'll update your resume and your cover letter specifically to the job that it's applying to for you. So it'll take the job description from the company and it'll reword your resume so that way it includes some of those keywords. So that way your resume will rank higher, because most people don't know, but companies, it's not actual physical people at tech companies reading your resume. There's actually software that's reading your resume. So many times, many of y'all are qualified for interviews and even qualified for these jobs, but you don't even get an interview because it's not a human that's reading your resume. It's software that's reading your resume and is looking for certain keywords. But as you know, as a human being, it's not possible for you to reformat your resume for every single company you're going to apply to, unless you're only going to be applying to like 1 or 2 companies a day. Whereas Octoply, it actually passively applies to about 100 companies plus per week. Now, of course, there will be different tiers with Octoply. But anyway, let me continue reading through. So Octoply also, it finds the best companies for you, and it'll passively apply to 100 companies per week. It'll reach out to a recruiter on your behalf, and it'll actually reach out to a recruiter through your LinkedIn. So the AI of Octoply does that for you. It'll reach out to the recruiter after applying to the company with a personalized message. It'll auto schedule your interviews and does a lot more. So Octoply has not, it is not officially launched yet. It will be launching officially towards the end of this week. But right now we do have a limited wait list that we are telling people about. I'll put it here in the chat. I'm sorry, I keep saying it, but I'm not spelling it out for y'all. So it's Octoply.ai. Boom, post. And I'll put it here in the this other chat over here that I'm in. So Octoply.ai. I'm pretty sure y'all could probably see it over here though. I definitely butchered that spelling. That's trash. Octoply.ai. All right, boom. All right, there we go. All right, super cool. And yes, for those that are curious, I am one of the founders of Octoply AI. I know many of y'all know already, I do not code, so I'm not the developer of Octoply, but I am a part of the founding team there of those of us that have started Octoply. And obviously, you know, like my major role in it is that my passion is already helping people get high-paying careers. I'm a huge fan of people becoming entrepreneurs. I'm a huge fan of people like building businesses. But I believe the best route to do that is to leverage a high earning income, a 9 to 5, especially if you can work remote. And there's no industry that pays as much on average and like has as many remote working opportunities and its benefits as the tech industry. And so I'm a huge proponent of, one, helping people. If you're not making a bunch of money, helping people get in the tech industry so that way you can make a bunch of money. And then 2, once you're situated, maybe a year to 2 years after being like very situated in the tech industry, learning like about whatever business you want to do and leveraging your knowledge in the tech industry to include some type of technology in your business. So that way your business will be worth significantly more. Well, anyway, Octoply AI is something that's going to help a lot of people be able to get jobs without you actually having to do all the ridiculous work that goes into getting a job other than you interviewing. Because if you've already done the boot camp or college, or you have high transferable skills, if you're already like trained and prepared for the role and your resume already has the proper information on there, I personally don't think it makes sense that we as individuals have to apply. Like we have to like reformat our resume manually. Like we have to prove ourselves outside of the interview. I believe our resume should speak for ourselves. Unfortunately, many of us don't get interviews because software is looking at our resume and is prejudging us, when Octoply AI is basically able to speak the software's language. So that way you're able to get more interviews with better companies. But anyway, that's enough about Octoply. I'm gonna go ahead and get to y'all's questions. All right, I see a bunch of questions in the chat. So again, I'm going to answer a few questions over here on my side. I see a few questions over here, from the YouTube and LinkedIn community. I'm going to answer a few from Instagram. Then I'm going to jump over here and holler at y'all and see what y'all talking about over here. All right. So first question I see, Someone said, can you share your views on non-competition agreements? And have you ever gotten a tech role without signing one? So no, I've not gotten a tech role without signing a non-compete clause. I've always signed non-compete clauses. I would say put yourself in the shoes of the company or the tech company you're going to work at. If they don't want you to leak information, like basically they don't want you to quit the company and then go and work for their competitor where you potentially could share information that could put that company, it could put them at risk to losing out to their competitor. I think that's just wise business practice. I didn't haven't announced this publicly yet, but Tech is the New Black, we actually recently just signed a network deal. So Tech is the New Black just has been, we just joined a much larger network, a podcast network. And part of the contract that I had to read over and I had to sign included that there are certain things we can't do even if when we leave the network. Like we have to wait something like, I think 6 months or a year before we can go and start doing business with some of the brands that the network is going to bring us. And even though that's something that in my mind kind of sucks, it's like, well, realistically, it makes sense for a business to protect themselves against competitors or against like them losing money. So I agree with non-compete clauses, most of them. Of course, they vary, but I do agree with most. All right, one more question I'm going to answer from the Instagram community. Then I'm going to pop over here to the LinkedIn and YouTube community. All right, so someone says, will you interview someone who took a cybersecurity bootcamp that is now working in tech? Great question. I definitely need to do that because I have not done that yet. I know plenty of people who have, but yeah, I actually haven't done that yet. So thank you for bringing that up. I definitely will do that sometime pretty soon. All right, another question I see in here. Someone says, how long did your boot camp take? So when I did the boot camp, it was 4 weeks. I did the Careerist boot camp. Most of y'all know that, but for those who don't, I did a boot camp called Careerist. Of course, if you click the link in my bio, or if you go to the Tech is the New Black Instagram or my Instagram, you click the link in my bio, you'll see the list of boot camps that I recommend along with the discount codes and stuff. So if you want to do one of the boot camps, you want a discount, go ahead and use the discount code. I do get a kickback whenever somebody uses my discount code. And yeah, but either way, but the boot camp that I did was 4 weeks at the time. Now it's 6 to 10 weeks. Now the 6 weeks is mandatory, but then they offer an additional 4 weeks of complimentary training, which might or might not be necessary depending on you as a person. But it was 4 weeks when I did it. Now it's 6 to 10 weeks now. Specifically the boot camp that I did. There's other boot camps that are self-paced, other boot camps that have different time lengths. But yeah, that's how long it was. Also, again, I have FAQs in my bio. So I answer a lot of the kind of simple questions like that. Go to my FAQs. I have a bunch of videos where I answer some of these questions. So I'm going to try to focus on questions that I haven't answered in my FAQs. And I'll encourage you, if I don't answer your question, to check out my FAQs because you'll find your answer there. All right, I'm going to shift over to the LinkedIn and YouTube community. I appreciate y'all for being patient over here. All right. So, all right, y'all popped in with a lot of questions. I appreciate this. All right. New crib. Yeah. New crib. I live in Miami now. I live in Brickell, Miami. I need to cut the ends off of the on the branch, or not the branch, but the plant that I have. I got to cut the ends off because they look a little crazy. I'm always out of town, so I wasn't able to water my plants as much as I should. But anyway, all right, back to the more important questions. What's up? All right, I'm trying to find the questions in here. All right, cool. So someone says, yo, I work in big tech myself. I've never worked in big tech, just to be clear. I work in tech, but not big tech. For those who don't know what big tech is, think of if you don't work in tech, think of all of the tech companies you know of. If you know about it and you don't work in tech, it's a big tech company. They're considered big tech usually. But anyway, this person says that I work in big tech, but I feel stuck. I make the money and things, but I want more. Do you have any insight? Well, first off, you would have to define what that more is that you want. If you're looking for big tech to bring you a sense of like purpose or a sense of self-fulfillment, no, like I'm not gonna say no job can do that, but it's highly unlikely that a job will give you the more that you're looking for. I always encourage people, like, once you get in tech, and I said this earlier when the stream first started, once you get in tech and you're getting that big bag, I say, like, okay, let's say you get in tech and you're making somewhere between like 65 to 85,000. I personally think that your number one focus, and this doesn't apply to everybody, so if it don't apply, let it fly. But I personally believe if you're making between 65 to 85, $90,000 in tech, I think your focus should be really like killing it at that company and killing it in the industry to get yourself to making a little bit more money. But I think once you're making probably about, because you said you're making a lot of money, it's like, okay, if you're making about, let's say, like, depending on where you live, if you're making like about 115,000 to $250,000 plus in tech, at that point, I believe you should now shift your focus on what you do feel purposeful and passionate about in life, and now take that money in tech and be your own investor in what it is that you're passionate about and what it is you feel a purpose and a calling for. So again, I'm a huge believer in taking the money, the opportunities, the flexibility that the tech industry gives you and investing that into something that's going to give you a different type of return on investment, whether that is more money or that's more fulfillment or that's like you walking in your purpose, whatever that might be. So I'm a huge proponent of that. So that would be my insight. If you're already in big tech, which you say you are, you're already making good money, all that good stuff, what can you do to fix that wanting more? Taking that tech bag and investing it in something that'll give you more. All right, next question. Somebody said, any information on Baxter Cluis's new course? If you are speaking about his self-paced cybersecurity course, yes, the information that I have on that is that course is $997. I have a $100 discount code, same thing, link in my bio. Go to Instagram go to my Instagram or the Tech is a New Black Instagram, click the link in my bio, and if you want a discount, it's $100 off. So you'll only pay $897 for his self-paced cybersecurity program. I actually first heard about it because there's a dude who cuts hair in the same shop as my barber in Atlanta. And he was telling me about it. And he was in the midst of the program, and he was saying it was so incredible. He was saying it was so knowledgeable, so beneficial, and that they really were going above and beyond to really help him out and give him like just amazing resources. And so that's actually what propelled me to go ahead and ask Boy Cluis to come and be on my podcast and to go ahead and partner with him and recommend his self-paced program. So again, that's that's kind of a general gist of the knowledge that I have about it. All right. I'm gonna answer two more questions over here for the YouTube and LinkedIn chat, and then I'm gonna pop back over here to Instagram real quick. I appreciate y'all for tuning in with me on this lovely Sunday. All right. So someone said, Cyrus, can you bring more cloud people on? Yeah, I actually, when we did a recording for the podcast last time, one of the guests was actually supposed to be a young woman who works in she works in tech, but she's a cloud developer. But she like canceled like last minute. She just didn't show up. And then she seemed like an emergency happened, but I ended up texting her because I have her number. I texted her, and like communication was really weird. Maybe she's got something going on that I don't know about, whatever. But yeah, I do plan on having a few other cloud developers on. All right. Next question. Someone said, why did you leave your sales engineering role for a chief marketing officer role? More money, more money. Also, I wanted to have like dual training in the tech industry. Like any industry, it's valuable for you to have multiple skill sets. So again, let's say something happens and I need to get out there and start applying to jobs again. It's better for me to be able to apply for sales engineering jobs and tech sales jobs, like account executive, and a marketing officer, whether it's a marketing assistant or VP of marketing or a chief marketing officer. So it's just about diversity of skill set. But also the reason why I left is because I wanted to step into more of a leadership executive role. Like, one of the things I'm really big, y'all know I'm super transparent with my content. I'm really big on, like, one of the things I would talk about is like, yo, once I got in the industry, I was telling people, hey, y'all, I'm going to job hop and be at another company. And then I was telling people that it was my goal to step into a leadership type of position. And so part of me making some of the moves that I make is like, part of it is trial and error, but part of it is also so I could become more educated about the industry and be a better resource for y'all. Because it's one thing for me to tell you about what tech is like from somebody who is just entry level, working just kind of like working a $90,000 job or even $157,000 job in tech. But it's a whole nother thing when I'm an executive and I can tell you what things look like from every angle and every vantage point. So that's really what it's all about. And of course, again, more money, more opportunity, benefits, really dope. And just the opportunity, even with Octoply AI, I'm very passionate about what Octoply AI does. Obviously, everything y'all see me do, the reason for everything I do is to help people get high paying jobs in tech. And Octoply AI does that. So you can already see like why I'm so passionate about it. Nevertheless, because I'm passionate about it. That's another reason why I accepted the opportunity to be a co-founder of it. And the person that actually had the original idea of Octoply AI came to me and asked me if this is something that I thought, because they don't work in tech. They own a couple tech startups, but they don't work in tech. So they wanted to know, from my opinion, is Octoply something? This is before we had the name. They asked me, and I'm eventually going to bring the person on my podcast. It's somebody that y'all are familiar with, actually, if y'all watched the podcast before. But yeah, basically he asked me like, yo, Cyrus, do you believe this is valuable? Do you believe this is something that people would really desire? And I went crazy. I was like, bro, yes, like this is literally the hardest part about getting a job in tech, like, isn't the boot camp. The hardest part about getting a job in tech, y'all know, is like actually doing the work to get the job in tech. And even though the steps to get a job in tech are simple, it still requires work. And Octoply removes that work that's necessary to make the whole process seamless and easy, aside from you still having to interview well. Anyway, yeah, but that's why I left my role as a CMO. All right, I'm gonna answer one more question for the YouTube and LinkedIn community, then I'm gonna pop back over to Instagram. All right, cool. Yo, Pebblebrook in here. Yeah, I graduated from Pebblebrook High School. What's going on, Edwin? All right, someone said, what minimum salary would you take as an entry-level sales development representative or SDR? And you said OTE included. The minimum that I would have accepted, so I gave myself 12 months to get a job in tech. I got a job in 2 months, though. I started in 2 months. And the minimum that I said I was going to accept, including OTE, was $85,000. Now, maybe after 6 or 7 months of Lyft driving, and if I didn't have a job, maybe I would have dropped it down to $75,000. But the minimum I said I wanted to accept was $85,000. But I ended up getting a $90,000, which is basically the same thing. And that's OTE. And that was, of course, for a sales engineer role. But yeah, the minimum I said I was going to take is $85,000. I personally encourage people to not accept anything under $65,000. Basically the kind of like the same like parameter I really put on myself, roughly. But unless you're making, let's say you're only making $30,000, $35,000, or you're making $40,000, $45,000, but you have to drive to work every day and you have a stressful type of job, maybe take that $60,000, $65,000 job in tech if you're working remote, and continue applying to jobs. Continue doing that. Or, of course, accept that job and then allow Octoply to keep applying to jobs for you and reaching out to recruiters on your behalf while you're working your new job in tech, because that's something Octoply does as well. But yeah, that's what I would say. That's the amount that I would say. All right, y'all, I'm about to pop over here to Instagram real quick, holler back at the Instagram community, see what y'all talking about. Appreciate y'all being patient over here while I'm kind of trying to pop back and forth. I'm going to update my cameras and stuff too, so the quality can be a lot better. One of the tough things about moving is figuring out where to record in the crib that gives like proper lighting. Because those y'all over here on Instagram, I mean, both of y'all can see like how, like I'm trying to give y'all a cute, sexy background. Like y'all know I'm always trying to give like a sexy background, but it's like the light is kind of weird. So it's kind of messing up the motion a little bit. I know y'all ain't just trying to stare at me the whole time. And it's like I like my background to inspire. You know, I like people to see me upgrading, because those of y'all that have been following me for a minute, when I first got in tech, I was still like not living in a nice area, you know, because my lease wasn't up. And it's like my backdrop was like just a plain white wall. And it's funny, people thought I was capping when I was saying, oh, I'm in tech and I make 90,000. People were like, nah, he lying, because look at his backdrop. Like, it was the goofiest thing. But now I'm like, yo, I'm gonna show my backdrop, show people like my life upgrading, you know, kind of show like the blessings and everything, all that. So I'm gonna stop moving y'all around so much over here on Instagram. I know I'm kind of throwing y'all off. It's like real hazy now. I don't even know. I give up. All right, answer a couple more questions over here on IG for y'all real quick. Then I'm gonna wrap it up with answering some questions over here. Sorry, y'all, this is a very short live. I was supposed to be on here longer, but I was very tardy to the party. All right, so next question. I'm a teacher and want to change careers and go into tech. What should I do first? DM me. DM me. The reason why I say DM me is because the answer takes longer, but also is something I've addressed already on all of my lives, and I addressed it in my FAQs. So DM me, so that way I'm not kind of going through the whole spiel and everybody sitting here is like, we know all of this already. So I would say just straight up DM me and say, hey, literally DM me this exact same question. I'm a teacher who wants to change careers and go into tech. What should I do first? So DM me, and we'll be able to kind of communicate and chop it up. And I can see if you have transferable skills or if you don't, what you want to do in tech, stuff like that. All right, next question over here from the Instagram community. Are there any SDR, BDR, or account executive roles open at Octoply? No. Octoply is, so the way most tech companies go, this is the vast majority of tech. Really, this is the vast majority of companies in general, but particularly tech companies. The way that they usually start out, most tech companies start with the CEO or the founder, the visionary person, and then a developer, and then a sales rep, sales/marketing rep. So usually sales and marketing work very hand in hand until a company begins to grow and the business begins to grow. Octoply, one of the things I'm excited about with Octoply is that because tech is the new black, we're at a place now, like I mentioned earlier, because we now are signed to a network and we have brand deals and all these different things now, everything has shifted. Like before, I didn't need tech as a new black to make money because I was making money in tech. Now it's shifted to where now tech is a new black because of the brand deals, because of the network that we're a part of now. Like now tech is a new black is bringing in enough revenue that now I can take more risks. That being said, Octoply is not generating money yet. Like we haven't like officially launched it yet. You know, it's gonna be launching this week. That's why we're having a waiting list sign up. So we can't hire SDR, BDR people, sales engineers. We can't hire a bunch of these different roles and not have money to be paying people. So for example, we have a developer that works for us at Octoply. I'm being super transparent. I want y'all to hear this. This is how it is. We have a developer that works with us at Octoply. We are paying the developer, I think we're paying the developer $60 an hour. That's $60 an hour at a 40-hour week salary. That's $120,000 a year. Myself and one of the other founders at Octoply we've been paying this developer for the past few months as we've been working on Octoply. And when I tell y'all, it's a lot of money that's coming out of my pocket paying this developer, which I'm cool with because I believe in Octoply. Like weekly, I am paying thousands of dollars out of my own pocket every single week, like several thousands. I'm not gonna say exactly how much, but because we wanted to get one of the best developers to make sure Octoply is as quality as it can be. And we've been testing it. We've had a lot of users testing it. We've had bots testing it. Like we've really been working through it and sorting it out. That being said, the reason why I bring all of this up is that not only is Octoply not making money right now, because again, we haven't launched it yet. We just have a wait list. Also, like I'm paying, like myself and the rest of the founders, each of us are paying thousands of dollars individually out of our own pockets to build up Octoply. So all that being said, no, we're not at a place where we're hiring SDR, BDR roles yet, account executive roles. We actually do have one account executive that they're trained as a SDR, BDR person. They actually work on my team, the Tech is a New Black team. I've paid for a member on my team with Tech is a New Black to do a tech boot camp, so that way they could be more trained and knowledgeable in that. And now we realize that they're probably going to be our first account executive or sales rep with Octoply. And so anyway, I'm telling y'all a whole bunch of stuff that don't really matter to y'all. I don't know if this matters or doesn't matter. I'm just like, obviously being transparent based on the question that you asked. But yeah, no, we're not at a place where we're hiring a bunch of people yet. It's like we have to start making revenue first, because we could go to investors, and let's say we went to an investor and asked investors to invest, let's say $500,000 into Octoply right now. They would get such a large percentage of Octoply, since we haven't generated revenue yet. Because again, we haven't officially launched yet. They would get such a large percentage, and they would have a lot of say-so over Octoply. But we could use that money to hire out a team. But the way that I feel and the way that my co-founders feel, we're all in agreement that we would rather like bootstrap it, pay everything ourselves out of pocket. Like I'm paying thousands of dollars every week out of pocket for Octoply. The whole team is, or the co-founders are. We would rather do that, build up Octoply as much as we can build it, market it ourselves with paid marketing, doing all the things that we could possibly do, build it up to a certain point, and then maybe go to an investor or investors or venture capitalists. And now, instead of them asking, and I'm saying all this now just to kind of give y'all understanding of how it is when you're creating a startup. It's like you can either just go to investors before you've made profit and before you've shown that what you're building actually has value in the marketplace. And either one, 99% of investors are not going to want to invest, or two, they're going to want to give you $500,000 for 40% of your business, which would be crazy. I believe Octoply is going to change the world. I believe 5 years from now, no one is going to manually apply to a job ever again. And I believe Octoply is a thing that's going to transform that and create a world to where you as a husband, wife, father, mother, you just as an individual, it doesn't make sense that you have to sit down and manually apply to all of these different companies and manually reformat your resume, reformat your cover letter. Something that could take you, if you're doing this 5 days a week, this could take you 2 to 5 hours a day. Like putting in that level of work when a company, when an actual person isn't even looking at your information, it's software that's looking at it. It's like, no, I believe Octoply is going to create a world to where when you want a job, you could literally go and sign up. You, a friend, family member in the future, you could literally go and sign up for Octoply. Be like, okay, I'm gonna do a 1 week trial, or I'm gonna do a 1 month subscription, 2 month subscription, whatever. Octoply does all the work while you're living life, and all you have to do is check the alerts on your phone every time Octoply schedules an interview for you. Again, not says, hey, this company wants to interview you, but Octoply will be able to look at your Google Calendar and look at the calendar of the recruiter and match that up to schedule the interview for you. I believe Octoply is going to make it to where when somebody wants a job, they'll go to Octoply, create an account, or they'll re-sign in if they lose their job, whatever, and then they can continue living life, being with friends and family, doing all the things they love to do. And Octoply will do all the work to get them the job, and all they have to do is show up and perform well in the interview, which Octoply also helps you perform better in your interview. But that's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to get into that right now. Anyway, we're going to build up Octoply as much as we can, and then go to a venture capitalist or investment firm, so that way, or investors. So that way they're not getting such a large percentage of Octoply, and then we have such little say-so over it, and or we're not getting the financial ROI that we feel that we would deserve. Anyway, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just kind of giving y'all a bit of a spiller, a bit of a breakdown as to how it usually goes. Get a high-level overview of how it goes with a startup. But this is like a baby startup, like very early on. So Octoply right now is more of a sophisticated, it's simple for the user, but on our side with building it, it's a very sophisticated, AI on our end, but it's a product right now. But we're not like a company yet to where we're like hiring a bunch of people. So good question, though. Good question. As you can see, I'm very like passionate about business and all that cool stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions on the Instagram community, and I'm gonna hop over to the YouTube community. I hope this is bringing value to y'all. I hope I'm not just saying a bunch of stuff that don't matter to y'all. I know some of this stuff doesn't matter to some of y'all, because some of y'all are like, bro, I'm just trying to get a 6-figure job in tech. I don't really care about all this other stuff. But I hope for some of y'all it's bringing some type of value and insight and allowing you to kind of think differently and kind of expand your thought process. All right. Anyway, next question. Someone said, do you know anyone that's graduated from the software QA engineer program from Careerist? Yes, I know plenty. And I'm going to start bringing them on my live on Instagram. Actually, I had a QA engineer. I brought a QA engineer on my live from Instagram last year. One of my closest homeboys, his name is Caleb. He's a close homeboy of mine. He and I have known each other for probably 10 years now. I might be exaggerating. Anyway, we've known each other for like 6-7 years, something like that. Caleb, I brought him on my live on Instagram last year, and his interviews on my YouTube right now, on the Tech is the New Black YouTube. Caleb did the Q&A program with Careers, but I'm going to start bringing on more people that have done the Q&A program. I've noticed that I've kind of fallen into this only interviewing sales engineers and tech sales people, and I mean, clearly it's my fault that happened, but I'm like, I'm going to start interviewing other roles, specifically roles of people that have done boot camps that I recommend. So that way y'all can really hear from them the way, because y'all always hear from careers people, course careers people, and it's usually tech sales or sales engineering. But I'm going to kind of broaden that out a little bit. All right, cool. One more question in the Instagram community, then I'm going to check out the YouTube, LinkedIn community, and then I'm going to wrap this thing up. All right, cool. One second. I got to grab some water real quick. Grab some Essentia. A little small 10-second commercial break. This stream is not sponsored by Essentia. I should peel the wrapper off. Yeah, your boy is thirsty. All right, cool. All right, one more question over here. Then I'm gonna pop over to the LinkedIn YouTube community. All right, someone asked, they said, what can I do if I am done with the boot camp and still can't find a job in tech? Sign up for Octoply. No, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. But no, in all seriousness, what could you do? So I would say if you've done a boot camp and you still can't find a job in tech, sign up for the Tech is the New Black Facebook group. This week we will be going live with a tech recruiter or hiring manager, and we're going to answer questions, because the thing is, if you did a boot camp and you can't find a job in tech, there are a list of questions or a recruiter would ask you. Also, I don't promote this a lot, but I do one-on-ones as well. So if anybody wants to book a one-on-one with me, let me know. My one-on-ones are $500. It's like a 1 hour for $500 for the one-on-ones. If you don't want to pay anything, that's totally cool. That's why I go live for free. That's why, we're going to start going live on Wednesdays. That's why I have the podcast. That's why I have FAQs. I really try to give as much as I possibly can away for free. But if you're somebody where you want to do a one-on-one, you want to talk to me, just you and I for an hour, got to go through everything. Some of the questions I would ask someone like you would be, okay, what boot camp did you do? What role did you do in the boot camp, or what course did you do in the boot camp? How long ago did you finish the boot camp? Because that matters. Because if you just finished the boot camp a week or 2 weeks ago, then it's like, well, okay, cool. You just finished the boot camp. Like I didn't even start getting interviews until a month after I finished my boot camp. So it's like, okay, when did you finish the boot camp? Okay, cool. What were you doing while you did the boot camp? Meaning, did you start applying to jobs before the boot camp? I would ask, what does your LinkedIn look like? I would ask, okay, let me get a quick glance at your resume. I would ask, okay, are you posting on LinkedIn? I would ask, are you networking on LinkedIn? I would ask, how many tech events have you been to? What kind of tech events have you been to? I would ask if you're even getting interviews, because you said you can't find a job. You didn't say you're not getting interviews. I would ask, okay, are you getting interviews? Okay, if you are getting interviews, how many rounds of interviews? And what round are companies usually denying you? it's like there's a list of questions I would ask, because somewhere along the lines we can find out what's missing or what's going wrong, and we can look at those things and make tweaks in there. I hope this makes sense. I hope this makes sense. Just kind of like almost like with a doctor or let's say a physical therapist. Let's say you hire a fitness instructor and you tell the fitness instructor your goal is to lose 10 pounds. They're going to ask you, a good one will ask you a list of questions like, okay, lose 10 pounds for what? Is it because you want to look a certain way, or you want your weight to be a certain way on the scale? Because you could lose 10 pounds and not gain muscle and you still look like flabby. Or you could gain 5 pounds of muscle and leanness. Technically, you'll be a little heavier, but you will physically look better, and you'll just look better. It's like they'll ask you about your sleeping, about your eating. They'll ask you what type of workouts are you doing. Like they'll ask you a list of questions. So likewise, it's important to do that whenever I'm doing one-on-ones with people, and really just to sift through what mistakes you're making or what adjustments need to be made. Next question on here. Oh, my bad. I said I'm going to shift over to the LinkedIn YouTube community. All right, y'all. So I'm going to stay on here for a few more minutes, but now I'm going to focus just on the LinkedIn and YouTube community, answer a couple questions here, and then I'm going to chuck up the deuces because I got somewhere to go. All right. Somebody said, nice to see you go live here on LinkedIn. Yeah, this is my first time being live on LinkedIn. I'm going to do this more frequently. All right. Someone said, did you start as a SDR? No, I did not start as a SDR because you don't start as a SDR and then become a sales engineer. A sales engineer is an entirely different role. Now, can you start as an SDR and move to sales engineering? Yes, you can. But sales engineering is like it's not the same. It's not a tech sales job. It's pre-sales. You hear sales in the name. It can be confusing, but it's not a tech sales job. To be specific. But no, I did not start as an SDR. I went straight to sales engineering. All right, next question. Thank you. Somebody said resourceful, very resourceful platform. Thank you for that, Brooke. All right, someone said, what are the different branches in information technology? Good googly moogly. I would say Google that or chat GBT that or Bard that, because that is a very lengthy thing. What are the different branches? You have the cybersecurity side. You have the product management side. You have the tech sales side. You have it's a list of different branches and sides and stuff. Good question though, but I would say probably like look that up on Google because that would take a minute. All right, next question. What if a sales company wanted to hire you, but they only do commission and bonus, no salary? Do not accept that role. That is not a tech company. That is some old school, outdated, primitive sales company, in my opinion. Or they're a startup and they're really, really, really small, and they don't have money coming in yet to pay a base pay. So all they can do is promise a really high commission. That's the only ones that I really can know about or think about. So I personally wouldn't encourage people to jump at that unless you don't have other. If you ain't making money no other ways, then yeah, you might as well go ahead and do something, make something shake. All right, I just started Course Careers thanks to Cyrus and his interviews. Yo, shouts out to you for making that investment in yourself. Definitely check out my FAQs and watch a few of my podcast interviews with people that are in tech sales, specifically the interview with Caleb B, the interview with FinTech Latina. Yeah, I would just say start there and watch those, and also look at my FAQs just to give you insight on how to get into the industry and how to scale in the industry. But yeah, congratulations to you. Someone said it's valid. Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty honest person. It's pretty valid. Someone said, can you spell that AI name for? I think y'all saw it earlier. It's Octoply AI. Man, I am butchering the mess out of this spelling. Oh, hold up. Is my computer glitching? I don't know why in the world the O is not showing up. That's so weird. Boom shakalaka. I'm so far behind on can I pin this? Oh no, I ain't trying to pin myself in timeout. I was trying to pin the oh, there we go. Y'all see it. Octoply AI. There we go. All right, y'all. So a couple more questions, then I'm gonna hop up off here. What is a lesson learned when you chose pre-sales versus SDR? I don't really know how to answer that question. I'm sorry. What is a lesson learned? I'm not really sure how to answer that. All right. So someone said, can tech companies hire me for a sales engineering role if I am currently in a cybersecurity program? That is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely that you're in a cybersecurity program and you're going to get hired for an SDR role. And I completely misspelled and butchered Octoply AI. I put Octoply AO. That is, there we go. That is highly unlikely. I would say it's not going to happen, but it could happen, but it's so highly unlikely. If you want to be a sales engineer, it's better for you to go ahead and accept the cybersecurity job you'll get. And cybersecurity is a great industry in tech as well. But if you want to be a sales engineer, if you get a cybersecurity job, you have to look. I answer this in my FAQs, like how to transition from one job in tech to another, whether with the boot camp or without a boot camp. I answer this question in my FAQs. What are your thoughts regarding the system engineer program through Careerist? I'm gonna keep it a stack. I don't fully know what system engineering is. Like I've heard about it, but I don't know what that is. I'm never gonna lie to y'all and act like I know what something is when I don't know what it is. I know I've heard of it a bunch of times, but I've never. I looked up what it is, what the role entails, but I forgot what it entails. And also, I don't know anyone personally that's done the system engineering program. So that's not saying it's bad or it's good. That's just saying I just really don't know, and I'm not gonna lie. All right, somebody tried to call me. All right, cool. Cyrus, what is with Boyd Cluis's cybersecurity program? I purchased the course, but no class on it, like the course careers. I don't know what you're talking about. Please DM me on Instagram. Please message me on Instagram, and so that way, yeah, I can address this and like figure out what it is you're saying, because I'm a little confused about what you're saying. Somebody say, can I do a boot camp or a course and get a job in the U.S. from Nigeria? It would have to be a job with a company that would accept the fact that you live in Nigeria. It depends on the company. Yes, you could do some boot camps will allow you to do their programs even though you live in Nigeria, but understand that that doesn't open a door for you to get a job everywhere. There are some companies that are hiring roles for people that specifically live in Nigeria. But understand that you getting a job in tech is usually based on it's based on usually two factors. Usually it's based on three factors. One, if it's a remote role. If it's remote, then yeah, you should be able to live anywhere. But two, the second reason is the time, or the second factor is the time zone that you're in. Because if you're trying to work at a company that's based on Eastern time, which is what I'm at here in Miami, Eastern Standard Time, and you're in some other time zone where you're 7 hours ahead, but they're looking to hire somebody that can work between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, that might be, and I could be completely wrong with this, but just as an example, that might be 4 p.m. to I don't know the math. My math is jacked up, but 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. or midnight, your time, where it just doesn't correlate for the company or doesn't correlate in terms of like your sleeping schedule. And so, yeah, it depends on the tech company. There's other factors that add into that, but I don't want to continue wasting time on that. All right, I'm gonna answer one more question here, then I gotta hop off this live. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and stuff. All right, are there any more interviews about AWS solutions, architects, or cloud besides Ed Fry's? Yeah, I just had an interview with somebody. His episode dropped last week on the podcast. Robert, but we didn't talk about his role in tech a lot. We just talked more about like him getting in tech, his father's role in like what his father used to do in tech, artificial intelligence, how to get promoted, how to like kill it at your role, like different things like that. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna do one more because I feel like that wasn't. I just felt like that question isn't really applicable to a lot of people. You know what? I'll do one from each. I'm gonna answer one more question from the IG Live and one question from the YouTube, LinkedIn side. Do you know of any other cybersecurity programs outside of Boyd Cluess? Yes. Pivot Tech, y'all listen very closely. Pivot Tech is a tech bootcamp that offers a variety of roles. One of those roles is cybersecurity. Now, one of the things that's really dope about Pivot Tech is that they actually guarantee you a job in tech. So that's listed on their website. They guarantee you a job in tech. I interviewed the co-founders of Pivot on the podcast. Their episode dropped I think like a month ago. It was one of my favorite interviews. It was so much fun. And they're really passionate about helping people get jobs in tech. They might be partnering with Octoply, because one of the things that we're more than likely going to do with Octoply is partner with some of these boot camps. So that way, when you do a boot camp, when you finish the boot camp can automatically start. Basically, they will use Octoply on the back end, but Octoply can start applying to jobs for you after you finish these boot camps. So I want y'all to understand, like, now, of course, I'm sure they're going to factor it into the cost, because we're not going to give Octoply to these boot camps for free, because I ain't about to be paying my developers thousands of dollars every week out of my own pockets, and these boot camps ain't about to be paying this. So clearly, it's going to be some type of deal that's going to be worked out, which means some of these boot camps might charge you a bit more, but it will create the idea is for it to be a seamless process for y'all. So in the next 2-3 months from now, when I come on live and I'm telling y'all about tech boot camps, hopefully the ones that I recommend to you will be a all-inclusive boot camp, to where it's like, yo, you do the boot camp, and not only does the boot camp give you the education and the training, but also the boot camp leverages the AI from Octoply to do all of the applying, fixing up your resume, reaching out to recruiters and hiring managers, scheduling your interviews, all of that stuff, fixing up your cover letter, doing all of those things. So it just becomes a seamless process. So all you have to do are two things: do the boot camp and interview. That's it. Do the boot camp and do the interviews that Octoply gives you. So that's the seamless process that I'm believing Octoply is going to create for people. Yeah. So anyway, but no, Pivot, my bad. Pivot Tech. Obviously, y'all can tell I got Octoply on the brand. I'm very excited about Octoply. But Pivot Tech is a great boot camp. And likewise, if you hit the link in my bio, I do have a discount code for Pivot Tech. So go to my Instagrams, whether the Tech is a New Black Instagram or my personal Instagram, I'm just Cyrus, and click the link in my bio. You'll see a list of boot camps. One of those will be Pivot Tech. Again, they do guarantee you jobs in tech. And I have a discount listed in there as well. And they have a cybersecurity program, to bring it back to your specific question. All right, that's there. I'm going to answer one more question over here, then I'm hopping off this thing. Actually, I got to hop off the live now. I'm way behind schedule. All right, y'all. Look, I appreciate y'all being very patient as I'm trying to navigate hopping on 2 different streams. Yeah, thank y'all so much for y'all's patience. I hope this was beneficial to a lot of y'all. Yeah, definitely check out Octoply AI, Octoply.ai. Check it out on Instagram. Also sign up for the wait list that's there, so that way you'll get access to it. Again, just to kind of give you a breakdown of what Octoply AI is and what it does. So Octoply.ai is a career and staffing AI that does all the work it takes for you to get a job aside from interviewing. Octoply auto creates and updates resumes, also auto creates and updates your cover letter to be specific to each individual company it's applying to for you. It finds the best companies specifically for you that it feels that you would rank highly for. It passively applies to up to 100 companies a week, reaches out to the recruiters on your behalf with a personal message. It auto schedules your interviews and more. So it's just $600 to get started. We are going to have a free trial period, so that way you'll be able to test it out. All the things that are standard and y'all are already familiar with. You can go ahead and sign up for the wait list. The wait list is not something where you sign up and then you look up and it's like, oh snap, like I'm using Octoply and I'm being charged. It's nothing like that. But it's really just there's only a certain amount of users that we'll be able to start with. Going to be able to start with that first as we're scaling, because if you don't work in tech, like there's storage still matters, but storage is like in the cloud, and it's just it's a lot of stuff I'm not even gonna like break down to y'all. It's a lot of things that'll kind of bore y'all. But basically, we're only accepting a certain amount of users, so definitely go ahead and sign up for the wait list. And that's basically it. Love y'all. Peace and blessings. Discounted tech bootcamps in my bio. Check out Tech is the New Black for education. All the good stuff y'all need. All the stuff is usually in my bio. Love y'all. Blessings, grace, and peace.